My name is Benji Kramer. I am the Senior Manager of IT Services at Friedman and Huey Associates. One of my roles is to focus on all of the technology needs and innovation that we have at Friedman and Huey Associates. And I've been doing this for about 7 years and working for the firm for 11. So one of the things that we're always trying to do is innovate and improve our internal processes. And one of the things that we found to be one of the more cumbersome processes was sending a return out for assembly and eventually out to our clients. So the paper assembly process seemed to be very cumbersome. It confused people on what they should include, what they should not include. Retrieving signed e-file forms from our clients is always a challenge. So it was nice to find a tool in SafeSend that would send out reminders. And so, we really just felt that it was time to, we felt like it was time to find a product that could help that out. So one of my team members attended a webinar and really fell in love with the idea of the product and brought it back to our innovation team. And after that, a group of our partners had gone to a BDO conference, and they mentioned that there's this great program out there called SafeSend Returns, and we need to really investigate it. So we spent some time looking into that, and then I attended SurePrep Transform, and SafeSend was a co-sponsor of that. And that was really how we were introduced to the product and saw all the benefits and items that it could do for our firm. Every technology implementation comes with its own unique challenges. So this was certainly one of a learning experience for our innovation team. Some of our leads in the SafeSend process. We chose to remove the partner group as a whole out of this process and just focus on the team members who really deliver and process our returns. So our administrative team was the primary focus on the implementation side, and that was a new process for them. It was a new process for me as a leader, working with that group. One of the things that we found that we could have improved upon was focusing our training and implementation for the tax staff and just showing them specifically what the client is going to see, their clients, and how they're impacted. I think we may have gone a little too far and went through the entire process that our administrative team sees, and it may have overwhelmed some of our tax team. And so in hindsight, we would have focused the training, the ins and outs of the program and the training with just the administrative team, and gave a more detailed, here's what your client will see and how they'll interact with SafeSend for the tax staff. So that's something that we would want to change going forward. And truthfully, I think some of them thought that it was a really cumbersome process for them to get a tax return out the door without actually realizing all they had to do was tell an administrative team member or provide an alert to an administrative team member that the return was ready to go out the door. All of the processing that they saw that we were going through was really the administrative team responsibility and not the tax manager or partner's responsibility. I think within the last year and a half, we've seen that the COVID-19 pandemic has really accelerated digital transformation, and in a positive way, it really forced our team to adapt and meet client needs. And so that included changing parts of our workflow because we were working apart. And without SafeSend as a tool, it really would not have worked out as well, because people are used to their paper processes or visiting an administrative team member at a front desk or in their office and saying and providing them with some information. But now that we were working apart and forced to make these changes, using SafeSend just definitely it really standardized how we had to go through our assembly process, because everybody was apart. So we all had to follow the same procedures to get a return to assembly and out the door. I think it also eliminated a lot of inconsistencies in our existing processes, because what we were able to change in our tax workflow was you take your tax return, you print your copy, and you save it to a specific location that's on a shared network drive, and then our administrative team members would have access to it. What used to happen, some people would print the paper and drop it off, some people would email the file. So now, putting in place one very specific process, we were able to really eliminate those inconsistencies and standardize our workflow. So for the most part, it's been a really positive experience. As mentioned previously about the transformation from that was caused by the pandemic, many of them did not have a printer or a scanner. So sending them paper to print out, or sending them things that they needed to print out, sign, and scan back, having SafeSend Returns was a huge plus. And they really saw that as a very forward-thinking and forward-looking program. And I would say that it was great that we were on the road to using this prior to the pandemic. And it was 2020 tax season, the year 2020, so the 2019 tax season was our first tax season with SafeSend Returns. And so it was interesting to see the pre-pandemic part of returns go out, and then really see everybody just fully adopt and accept that this was a new normal, and that this was a way that firms are going to interact with their clients. And so I think they were happy to have that availability. They were impressed that we were pushing something like that, and that we were prepared as we were going through it. One of the things we noticed, there was some hiccups with clients who were not as tech savvy. They had a lot of questions about how things would work. And so I think that was something that was a little bit of a challenge, specifically with our Mac users, and maybe some of our I would say they're people who do their personal returns while at their office. And they ran into some hiccups because their offices have very specific firewalls related to certain websites. And so that was a challenge to train them on the fact that, these are things that you need to do on your personal time, and not necessarily at the office. So that was an interesting thing to learn and find out about our clients' personal preferences. So I think that's a really difficult question. It's really difficult to monetize what SafeSend has meant to our firm, at least not yet. I think if we really tried to dive into what it was, we're definitely saving on postage and paper printing and all of that. So I would be interested to know if we could measure reams of paper. That would be interesting. But I really think that the time aspect is something to focus on. I had a conversation with one of our administrative team members who does a lot of assemblies. And one of the things that she mentioned to me was that a simple return would take her 30 minutes. And that's a simple return. So what used to take 30 minutes on a simple return is now really 5 minutes or less on all returns. So it standardized the product that was sent to the assembly team, and they really love using it. And I think not only does it help with client retention for reasons where the clients see us as a forward thinker, but I think it helps with employee retention, because I think our administrative team sees this as an investment in them. Over the last 2 tax seasons, I took a look before this call, we've done 1,400 returns. Now, if what she's saying is that a 30-minute assembly is now down to 5 or less, I did the math that's 25 minutes per return times 1,400 returns. It's 35,000 minutes or 583 hours. And when you say, what has this done for your firm? That's time back for our team members to be with their family. And especially now where family is so important, and everybody's looking for that extra time. So I think that was probably the best thing that's come out of this, is the amount of time that our administrative team has saved, allows them to do other projects, but also spend more time with their loved ones. And that's just on a simple return. That doesn't include some of the trust returns that we do that have a lot of different beneficiaries, or a large multi-state 1040 that goes out the door, that sometimes they are spending, an hour and a half making sure that it's right. Because, at the end of the day, that while our services and our clients, our focus on client service is really our biggest offering, sometimes the client really feels like that piece of paper, that product that we're doing for them, is that return. And so when we assemble the return, that's our biggest product in their eyes. That's the one thing that they hold on to and file away and make sure, and you want to make sure that it's perfect. So those can take a long time. The simple ones, though, getting it down to 5 minutes or less is incredible. What was made available when the IRS started to allow just basic digital signatures really helped us expand the use of SafeSend Returns. So we're hoping to see that can continue, especially for business and trust returns, because one of the hesitancies of using this product was that our trusts and our business returns and our managing members of business returns were not able to actually sign these returns electronically. But that change really transformed the way in which we used it, and I think it just propelled SafeSend onto so many more Friedman and Huey team members that it helped push the product forward here at Friedman and Huey. Other examples of the product and the company, we work with a fantastic client success manager. I find her to be very knowledgeable and communicative. We have quarterly meetings to discuss where we're at within our usage and what products are coming out ahead. So that's been great. I know that our management team that runs the SafeSend internally, that runs our SafeSend program, they're very happy with the help center and the resources that are available there. And one of the things that we're definitely looking forward to using in the coming tax season is grouped returns. And that's a feature that our high net worth families, where we prepare a variety of returns, will really see a benefit. And that's a testament to SafeSend listening to their client base, because it's a frustration of a client to receive a separate email for each return. And for SafeSend to hear that as a complaint with the product and do something to remedy it, and remedy it in this way where we can now send one set of grouped returns, we're really excited to see it in action and get our hands on it. So that's definitely a way in which, and it's a very positive experience, in a way in which we've seen SafeSend invest in their clients and their customers. One other thing that I wanted to share too, that I recently noticed, on our call, our post-spring tax season call sometime in the last couple of months, we were talking with our client success manager, Kelly, and we mentioned that the grouped returns feature, and how it called it a controller dashboard. And one of the things that we shared with her was, you might not be sending these grouped returns to a controller. It may be a client, it may be a family office administrator, and that their role is not controller, and that might be confusing. And the other day we were in the product and we noticed that the dashboard is now called tax return dashboard, and it's far more generalized. And I think that will resonate a lot with so many more clients. And that's just another way in which we provided something as a suggestion, and we're seeing it in action, and it just shows the relationship that SafeSend has with their clients and the way that they listen. And so that was fantastic to see. 100%, absolutely, yes. For many of the reasons I've stated already, It has helped change the digital mindset within our firm, with our staff and our clients alike. It has certainly automated and standardized some of our inconsistent processes that center around the assembly program. And as I mentioned, it saved our administrative team countless hours this past 2 tax seasons, and has allowed them to help out in other areas of the firm, and again, just time back in their day to be with their families, which is always important.